Do you resonate with thoughts like, I try to work so hard but yet feel like I'm not moving closer towards my goals? I make these vision boards, I watch these motivational videos, I try to do everything possible. I feel like I'm stuck and I'm not moving forward in my life. I try to do every single thing every person on the online media has asked me to do about self-development and taking care of yourself, yet I feel like I haven't been improving that much. So does thoughts like this consistently run in your mind? Do you self-sabotage yourself whenever you see opportunities of growth? Do you purposefully put yourself down when you see good opportunities coming in? Do you procrastinate when you know you have to finish that work? And maybe the biggest enemy might not be anyone outside, but it may just be you yourself. You keep trying out new behaviors, routines, and habits, but nothing seems to stick for long enough. Well, maybe let's take a deep dive into your subconscious and see what wounds, beliefs, thoughts, ideas, and trauma are still hidden which you are not aware of yet. So maybe you want to manifest your dream partner and have that amazing life you have always dreamt about. But somewhere you're still scared of rejection, abandonment, hurt, insecurity, vulnerability. So each time love approaches your way, you shy away or you attract emotionally unavailable people because deep down some part of you still believes that you are unworthy of love and acceptance. And naturally you back away and try not to get closer when things actually start getting more real. So on the surface level, you may be journaling, I want abundance, a lot of money in my life, but deep down there's still a belief around self-worth and money issues that somehow you just cannot step into the abundance mindset. Let me give you a small example that'll help you understand where I'm going with all of this. So remember that time in your childhood when you started to learn how to ride a bicycle? Well, now you're a grown-up adult and yet you know how to ride a bicycle. You don't have to consciously think again and again about how to ride it because now you can focus your attention and awareness to other things such as paying attention to the direction, the traffic, the things around you. You don't have to consciously put too much effort in remembering how to ride a bicycle because it is already stored in your subconscious through memory and repeated action. This is the same with our regular day-to-day activities such as brushing our teeth, getting ready for work, or driving a car. All of these things have become so automatic that we don't really have to consciously think about how to do them because now it has just become a part of our lives and we just do it unconsciously. And in a lot of ways they help us because it eliminates the process of thinking and problem solving and decision making. Now you see how most of the actions we perform on a day-to-day life are very subconscious and they have already been inbuilt within us. And that is the same thing with our beliefs and the mindset we develop. A lot of the things have become so subconscious that we don't actually sit down to question our beliefs and when they were formed and how they are impacting our life. And now you see with all the other examples I told about love, work, relationships, how it all applies is because we still have a subconscious belief that affects our behavior and how we show up in our day-to-day world and activities. And when there has been a block or disconnect in our subconscious, there is no way we can manifest great things or abundance in our life because some deep down part of us still inherently believes in that block, and so that disconnect is not allowing us to move further. But in this video I'm going to talk about how you can become more aware of your subconscious wounds, accept them, and how you can move past them and try to create new beliefs and ultimately create a new life for yourself. So now you may ask me why even we go into the subconscious. I mean, I'm consciously aware of all the things I want to do in my life. But let me tell you, 90% of our behavior is derived from the subconscious beliefs which we inherited by our family, our society, our culture, our friends, our community, the people we grew up with, the media influences we have had. And if we have never questioned those beliefs, then they have just become an automatic part of us, and maybe our true selves are not aligning with those beliefs that we just inherited from everything around us. So what are even beliefs? Well, they are repeated thoughts which go in your mind over and over again, and they have become so hardwired that now it derives your actions with or without your conscious awareness. Now you may ask yourself why you have issues with low self-esteem, chronic anxiety, perfectionism. Well, maybe some part of it lies in your childhood. Maybe growing up your parents criticized or judged you way too much, which created a mentality of lack within you. Or maybe you inherently never feel loved because the people you surrounded yourself with never loved or appreciated you. Maybe you overwork so much and try to be productive all the time to overcompensate for a feeling of lack within you. So now you see, these are the problems and these are the feelings we need to actually sit down and deal with before we can think about a life which we want to manifest for ourselves. By actually exploring and dissecting our subconscious and where certain beliefs came from, we can start understanding ourselves at a much deeper level and start having a very rich understanding of our own mind and how we act and show up in our day-to-day world. Because once you figure out all these reasons and all these chaos which happens within, you can finally work towards actions that create more peace and harmony in your life instead of the drama and chaos and the disharmony. And also, once we understand our subconscious mind better, we can understand the people around us and the relationships we get into and how everything affects us. Now, most of the thoughts we have come from beliefs which we have had, and those beliefs were ingrained in us through childhood and the early influences we have had in our lives growing up. And now let me give you another example that will help make things easier to understand for you. Now, if you have ever been to a circus, you might have noticed that giant elephants are chained to a pole, and that pole is deep rooted in the ground. Now, the elephant, with its incredible strength, can easily pull away from the chain and escape from the circus. But it chooses not to, because it raises the question, what compels the elephant to stay in that same position when it knows that with its incredible strength it can just pull away and escape? Well, maybe because years ago when the elephant was a baby, it was tied to that same pole with the chain, and the elephant made numerous attempts to run away and escape, but unfortunately could not do so because the elephant was a little baby. It did not have enough strength to break free from the chain, and in the multiple attempts the elephant did, it saw a sight of blood, fear and pain, which again reinforced the belief in that little elephant that no matter how hard it tries, it can never break free from the chain or go away. Now, over time, this belief became very subconscious and ingrained in the baby elephant's mind. Now, years later, despite having acquired enough strength, the elephant still chooses to stay put with the chain, even though it has acquired enough strength to break free from it. Now, why does it happen? Because the elephant has had a subconscious belief which was rooted deep in his childhood. So now we can see how the subconscious mind controls the elephant's actions and behaviors, even though now the circumstances have changed, but his belief has still remained the same, which is again putting that elephant in that same place of being stuck when in reality it can actually escape. And again, this is the same with all of us humans too, because we have developed so many beliefs when we were young kids that affects us even now as adults if we have never sat down to question. Now, repeated occurrences, past experiences and the things which have happened in our lives at some point made our subconscious belief about certain things that may not hold to be true now in the present moment, but are still part of our automatic decision making process, and we still go by that subconscious rule which we created when we didn't even consciously choose to do it, causing us to automatically follow that rule without ever questioning it consciously if it's benefiting our life, improving it, or just keeping us stuck in the same place. So now you see how even though in our present life circumstances have changed, we have grown up, we have had so many different experiences, yet our subconscious rule book still remains the same and affects so much of our decision making. And sometimes, maybe because of these unresolved trauma, wounds or pain, you are unable to move forward in your life or see yourself progress in your work, career, friendships or relationships or personal life. So well, how can you start changing your subconscious and start adopting to new beliefs and ideas? Well, first relax, calm down, feel comfortable where you're sitting, and then take a piece of paper and pen and start journaling with questions such as, how can I use my time wisely given my present conditions? What are some of the beliefs I inherited from my parents, society or culture that I never questioned for myself? What are some things that consistently hold me back that I am unaware of? Or am I juggling other people's values and expectations of me so that they can feel good and I can feel safe? What I would like to do more or less of in my life so that I can progress towards improvement? And again, as human beings, we love to have consistency between our beliefs and actions. So if you say that you're gonna start working out 4 days a week, then make sure your actions are aligning to those beliefs. If you say you're someone who eats nutritious food, then make sure you're aligning your life with that. Make sure you have enough time in your week to meal prep, or you choose healthy options than the unhealthy ones. But again, if you're not doing things that you promise yourself you're going to do, then you're again unconsciously subscribing to the belief that I am not good enough, or I can never keep a promise to myself, or whenever I try to achieve something, I fail. These are all illusions and thoughts which you create, and they are not your reality. You can create your own reality. So again, stop setting unrealistic expectations for yourself in your life. Really sit down with yourself and consider who you are as a person, and you really don't need to compare yourself to anyone. Sit with where you are, start with what you have, and then create new beliefs for yourself that are going to align to the version you see yourself becoming in the future. Now again, the reason why I believe sometimes vision boards and watching motivational videos and other things might not be as helpful in changing yourself is because you are never acknowledging your subconscious wounds or things which have been buried deep down in your mind and in your psyche. For example, if you have a deep-rooted belief that you are unworthy of success or abundance in your life, then every time an opportunity of growth comes your way, you will downplay your achievements, you will not take that compliment, and you will never feel good enough about yourself, no matter how much in the external surroundings good situations and opportunities start coming up. Which is why get really honest with yourself, why you behave a certain way, and then start working towards actions that can change those behaviors. Simply creating a vision board or working out or eating healthy without understanding the reason why you're doing it may not really help you in consistently implementing that over a long period. So as I said, a lot of these subconscious wounds are formed when we are children and we are barely aware of them. So one of the best things you can do for yourself is journaling. I have linked down below certain journal prompts. Please go ahead and do it. Give yourself a lot of acceptance, grace, and forgiveness when you start working with your belief systems, because when these beliefs were formed, you were a little kid and a lot of your mindset was adopted from your parents, from the friends you had, from the culture or place you grew up in, and our community. So don't be too hard on yourself. This subconscious work can be really exhausting because you really have to look back at your life, reflect on certain things and why you became the kind of person you are now, and how much everybody's influence has had a deeper impact on your growing up. With this subconscious work, you really have to identify the source of pain, really start becoming aware of your patterns of negative self-talk, criticism, rejection, and when you started developing that. And this is crazy, but sometimes even the voices in your head are not even your own voices or thoughts. They were thoughts of the people you consistently surrounded yourself with. It will always be beneficial to sit down with yourself, work on creating newer thoughts which will come from newer beliefs, and once you have formed that, you can start taking actions which are now consistent with the new beliefs. So when you really dig down into all of this, you have to take out all the parts of yourself which are not working in your favor and start putting in new things more coherently, more consistently, which can now align with the person you see yourself becoming. And let me tell you, inner work is not easy. It's gonna take a lot of time. Don't just sit with yourself in one day and expect yourself to become a completely new person. But you have to be really consistent and persistent. Set up a time every week where you're gonna sit with yourself and journal about these things. And also make sure when you sit with yourself, you have enough energy to actually answer and think and reflect about those questions. Don't do it at the end of the day when you don't have any energy to sit with yourself. A lot of inner child healing will also be helpful for this, because I think growing up, a lot of our needs as a kid were not met. So as an adult, you have to work towards reparenting yourself and giving those things to you. You might have felt hurt, scared, rejected, abandoned, but acknowledging that pain is the first way that you can start accepting it and creating more room to heal from that pain. As you start doing this kind of work, it takes a lot of mental energy, and you are actually confronting all the pain, all the trauma which maybe you have never acknowledged. So if you feel like these things are very overwhelming for you, then always seek out for help. It's okay to ask a therapist or someone who can help you deal with these emotions. So don't feel scared to ask for help or support outside. And just remember, everything you have known up till now about yourself which you believe to be true is a perception you hold. It's the stories other people have told you. It's the subconscious beliefs you have grown up with. And now if you're watching this video, you can start creating new beliefs about yourself and start creating new stories which puts you as the main character instead of being a victim. You can start really changing your life and become the best version you've ever become if you decide to do the inner work, the healing journey, and facing your subconscious wounds. So yeah, you might as well start creating your own story. Thank you so much for sticking in with me. Leave your comments below. I know I always love reading them and replying to them. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.